and welcome back to Journey Through the Pen. I am Lori, and I'm glad that you are here today. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the emotional roller coaster that I tend to stay on, having someone I love in prison. A lot of people don't really understand why there's a lot of anxiety involved. If you take away the obvious of being separated and, not being able to talk when you want to, or you have to figure out things on your own a lot of times, and sometimes that just gets overwhelming, handling everything at the house, the bills, taking care of life out here, making sure everything stays on track for when they come home. So there's a certain level of anxiety just with that. But a lot of it comes with just what goes on inside the prison that we don't have any control over, that we worry about. So I'm going to share, I guess, the three biggest things that have caused me anxiety over the years. The first one is corruption within officers in the prison, and retaliation, fear of retaliation if you report the corruption. There are men and women who have been killed by officers, and people have been scared to talk about that, but that is a reality. There's a lot of the good old boy kind of system in the Florida prisons. People cover each other for the corruption that they do. A lot of it's called out. I mean, the Department of Corrections, if you go to their website and if you go to the newsroom and you look at the OIG arrests, you'll see how many officers have been arrested this year, last year, the year before. You can look at the affidavits as to why, but it's not uncommon for it to be for battery on an inmate. It's very common for it to be bringing in contraband. And it's not even just officers. It's food service workers. It was one time there was a substance abuse. A counselor was bringing in contraband. I mean, really? So there's a lot of stress. I know at one of the prisons that my husband was at, one of the female officers was sexually harassing him and threatened me, actually, but he didn't want me to say anything because it would just make things worse. So there's a lot going on behind the walls that needs to be discussed, that I need to be braver about, you need to be braver about, because being silent doesn't fix anything. It allows it to continue. The second biggest thing that has caused me anxiety is the drugs that are in prison. The availability to get drugs is unbelievably easy, and that's extremely disappointing. If you have a loved one that's an addict, I pray a lot. We've battled 2 relapses. He's tried to extort me for money when he's relapsing. It's a terrible situation. There's not a good end to it. You just have to pick the least terrible. So that causes me a lot of anxiety. There's not even programs for him to get into to try to help him stay straight. It just has to be all on him, and that's a lot when you're talking about somebody that's been an addict for all of their life, since they were like 11. So that's very stressful. The third thing that causes me a lot of anxiety is the lack of medical care. The fight that you have to go through to get anything done for them medically. And he doesn't have any crazy serious medical problems, but he does have asthma. We just found out that he is pre-diabetic, and he has high blood pressure and high cholesterol. Apparently, they found that out at the last prison he was at, but they never did anything about it. And now that he's been moved again, they are actually trying to treat it. So I'm really excited about the medical team where he currently is, because I feel like they're actually trying to do their job. Whereas any time before that he has had an issue, I have had to fight and fight and fight. And I feel horrible for people who are in there that don't have anybody out here to fight for them, because they're not getting what they need. I can promise you that. Getting him an inhaler when he first went in, I had to go up through regional people to get him an inhaler. I mean, I'm not asking for him to get special treatment. You know, having an inhaler and being able to breathe is sort of important. So the lack of medical care is very real. I know that people think, oh, well, they get free medical, they get free housing, they get free food, free education. And I wish that even a part of that was true. I mean, none of it's free. We're paying for it. Our taxpayers are paying for it, first of all. The meals that they get are not nutritious. The medical care is not free. You have to pay a copay, so to speak, to go see the nurse. You have to see the nurse 3 times in a row before she'll let you see a doctor, and then you see the doctor, and then he decides whether or not he wants to treat you. It's pretty much how that works. There's a lot of up and down with this journey. It's daily. You know, if I have, like, today was not bad. You know, nothing bad happened. But that's kind of rare. There's normally some sort of issue, something. You know, later in the week it's going to be 90 degrees again, and they have no air conditioning, no fans. It's just miserable. So what I would recommend for anybody going through this, you've got to find support. Find somebody that will listen to you, that won't judge you, that won't judge your loved one, that you can call whenever you need to. Maybe it's someone that you meet at visitation. A lot of times you'll make, friends at visitation, and you can talk to each other about what's going on. I'm getting ready to start a support group here in Jacksonville, because I think people just feel so isolated. And when you're going through this, it's very difficult. And to have somebody local that you could maybe call and say, look, I'm having a terrible week. Can we walk at the park, or can we talk? Can you make me feel less alone? So you're stronger than you think. You will get through this. I encourage you to stay the course. I would want somebody to stay with me. If the roles were reversed, I would want some sort of support out here. I could call somebody if something was going wrong, and that they would fight for me. That's very important. So try to stay the course. It's not easy. I have not met one weak person on this journey. I will tell you that, because you can't be. You will have weak days. You might have weak months. But you're stronger than you think. And together, we are stronger. We are braver. We are louder. And we can start making some changes. And that's really what we need to focus on, is making some changes. So my next video is going to be on legislators. Who, what, when, where, and why. Who are they? What do they do? When do they do it? Who, what, when, where do they do it? And why is it important for us to get involved with our legislators? So I hope that you will stay with me for that. Subscribe to follow me, and check out my blog, journeythroughthepen.com. If you are in the Jacksonville, Florida area and would like to join my support group, leave me a comment. I'll send you the information for it. But just stay strong. Know that you're not alone. We're all going to get through this one way or another. And I will see you next time. Thank you.